We're live.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Oh my gosh. Planes, trains, and automobiles. We have been through it. We're back from the United States. We are home in beautiful Lisbon. We are so happy to be home. We came home in time for our good friend Alex's birthday party.
Yes.
Which was wonderful. It was great seeing everyone there last night.
Kind of wrote a song about it.
I want to hear it.
Want to hear it?
No.
Here we go. My friend Alex knows how to party. My friend Alex knows how to party in the city. We had fun, Alex.
We did have fun. We did have fun.
But we didn't get home until 2 a.m. Friday morning.
Yes, from the States. We got home at 2 a.m. Friday morning. Last night we went to bed at like 4 a.m. after the party, and then the party after the party, and you know. So here we are. Happy Sunday, y'all.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. And what we saw in the United States, really, when we were there, is this, and we've been noticing this, we noticed this even before we left, right? Is this low level, like just simmering rage that is going on beneath the surface. You know, everyone seems on edge. There's a freneticism that exists. And, you know, so I want to talk about that. And I want to talk about why that is. And if you are feeling that way, what you can do about it.
Yeah, I agree with that. It did seem weird. Some of the people we talked to, of course, we couldn't put them on camera or anything like that, but you know, some people we talked to, had conversations with, and you could just, it's like simmering underneath everything else. And it's just simmering and simmering like a volcano, you know, lava waiting to explode.
It almost seems like just constant frustration.
Yeah.
Right? Constant frustration. And so I'm sorry, I'm messing with the camera, y'all, because it doesn't seem centered to me. So, hey, y'all. My name's Halisi.
And I'm Rick. Welcome to our Black Utopia.
On our channel, we talk about money, travel, and retiring abroad as we build generational wealth or spin down to zero. We'll see which one we do.
We're trying to build generational wealth. We really are.
Yes. Yeah, we are.
But only if the generations cooperate.
We've been saying that lately.
Yeah.
Are any of them watching? I don't think so.
Hopefully we'll see somebody.
I don't think they're watching, so we'll see. But in any event, if you are new to our channel, then you might not know. About 7 years ago, Rick and I were getting close to retirement age, and we got a wake-up call. I mean, seriously, folks, if you understand, you're getting close to 50, you're at 50, you're a little over 50, and you look at your savings, you look at your retirement accounts, and there's about this much money in there. That was us. And he, right? And you know, I tell you, it left you kind of depressed when we figured out what kind of shape we were in. But about 3.5 years ago, we got our financial act together and we went from negative 22,000 to over 1 million in net worth.
Yes.
And if you shut up. If we can do that, then you can do it too. And so please, any of that sounds interesting, hit the like button, as our friend Action VJ says. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and hit that bell so that you know every single time we go live or drop a new video. So we are live every single Sunday at 3:30 Eastern Time and every other Thursday at 5 o'clock Eastern Time.
So this coming Thursday,
we go live. I have no idea what we're talking about. What
Action VJ, how is that wallet working out for you? I hope it's working out great.
So yeah, we had dinner with Action VJ last week. Yes. Okay, this is gonna be a silly show, but we are gonna keep it concise. We're gonna try. Hey, Marguerite, we can't wait till you get here. Hey, Kendall, it was great seeing you last night. You walked in with the champagne as usual.
Your new nickname, Champagne.
So no, B Democracy, we're not late. It's 3:30, 1:30 Mountain Time, because we're from Denver, 1:30 Mountain Time, 3:30 Eastern Time, 8:30 our time, y'all. So yeah, we will see you shortly. That's what we had to say. Hey, Regina, happy Sunday, Bluetopians.
Yeah.
So I think she put black and utopians together for Bluetopians. What do y'all think of that?
Should we get some T-shirts made?
Right? What do you think? That's like Regina. She's naming our community, right? She is naming our community. Hey, Greta. Hey, TW. Yes, you made it before we started. Good. I saw something else from you. Where is that? It must be down there. Hey, Auntie Trey. Good to see
how you doing?
Vanessa, her and her family got residency in Mexico, and now they're out in the international streets in Mexico City, and it looks like they're going to settle down in Querétaro. One of the places that is on our list. Yes, Action VJ. Congratulations are definitely in order. And so TW says she's on edge. She's starting already. She on edge.
because Spanish
is difficult.
It's all difficult, baby. Try Portuguese.
And yeah, I want to talk about this for a little bit, even though I know this is not what this show is about, but that's okay. If you guys are part of our community, you know this is what we do. Sometimes we go off on tangents. And so I think the biggest thing for adults learning a language is this need to already know how to do the thing.
We want to do it perfectly.
Right. We don't want to admit that we don't know. We don't want to appear to be stupid or this or that or the other. Right. And so give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. And just know that it will come. It takes practice. It takes, regular practice and study. Yes. Some people learn easier than others. Yes. But I truly believe that everyone can learn.
You'll be good.
Yeah. So give yourself grace. So, hey, Meriton, good to see you. I saw, hey, Greta, good to see you. KB, Jeanette, Shara, High Vibe. Professor is in the house. Justine Jones, happy Sunday, Halisi and Rick, and fellow Utopians. Justine.
Thank you. Happy Sunday to you.
Is that a new name? Pretty picture. Hey, Pinky, good to see you. Alexandria. Sir Panther Man, F Doctor.
Sir Panther Man.
Yes, good to see you, Tanisha.
He needs his own theme song.
Is it Tunisia or is it Tanisha? Tunisia or Tanisha?
I think it's Tunisia.
It could be. Hey, Morris. This is a new name. Morris Curley Jr. from Texas. Good to see you in the chat. Welcome. Vicky.
Hey, Vicky.
Jametta. Bree. Vicky G, Eleanor, who else? Nubia Net, good to see you. Michelle, Boa noite. Yeah, boa noite for us. Mama Bear, welcome back home to Lisbon. We are so happy to be back. Y'all.
It is truly.
You just don't know. Best laid plans. We'll talk about that at another time. Maybe, I don't know, we'll go live in our Facebook group. If you are not a member of our Facebook group, why?
Please join.
So if you're from the African diaspora and you are interested in financial independence, retiring early, or just financial independence, then join our Fire Over 50 Facebook group. You do have to be from the diaspora. You don't have to be over 50. You do have to be interested in money, and getting your money straight or helping other people get their money straight to join. So the information for that is in the description below. Hey, winning in education. And it looks like we've already got Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil.
Thank you so much. I haven't seen Dr. Phil in a while. So greetings from Oakland. That's right, Northern California. Thank you, Dr. Phil. As you all know, all of our super chat, super thanks, and super sticker money goes to our Ready to Retire. No, it doesn't go to our Ready to Retire Toolkit. No, it goes to our scholarship fund. Thank you, baby. It goes to our scholarship fund for anyone who wants to get their money straight but cannot afford Beyond the Bling. We do have scholarships available. So yeah. So thank you so much, and thank you for starting this outright. So let's get Phil. Right. So we got Killer Queen in the house. We've got Tanil in the house. Tanya retired. #living life. I know that's right. We're gonna talk a little bit about that too. Rhonda, good to see you in the house. Transition to tag. Hey there.
Hey.
again, I'm just so sorry about last Saturday. I really am. I feel so bad. I feel so bad. Eileen, good to see you. Tracy, James, June, hey, James, peace for Lisa. Senior advisor is in the house. Tamika, hello, 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 everyone. So I just want to tell you guys a story. Because this is kind of what got us thinking, So first of all, I remember talking to my cousin. You guys know AJ, he's a friend of the channel. He's helping us, create the real estate investment masterclass. We're going to talk about house hacking in there. We're going to talk about, real estate investing in this time when interest rates are so high and how you can still do that effectively. But in any event, it's interesting because I remember talking to him, and of course, not of course, but AJ did not go to a four-year college. AJ is a millionaire. His friends that did go to a four-year college are not necessarily millionaires.
No. A lot of them are still working.
A lot of them are still working and working hard. And one of the things that he said to me, and this was a couple of years ago, that really got me seeing this and thinking about it right before we left actually to come here, is that when I talk to my friends that I grew up with, they seem so angry, just frustrated and angry. And not like, if you just talk to them, it's just life as usual. But the lightness that AJ has, right? Like the bit of carefreeness that he has does not exist in his friends. And it was very obvious to him. So that was one story.
I mean, to talk to him and conversate with him and him letting you know, I can do what I want to do and when I want to do it. Because at the time, he was, when I had talked to AJ for the first time, knowing that he had all the money that he was still working his job.
Yeah.
But he was doing it because he just liked his job.
Yeah. And there's a difference. There's a big difference going to a job that you like, that you don't need to go to, even when there are going to be people there that get on your nerves, because that's inevitable, right? And knowing that you don't have to be there, right. And then showing up someplace and feeling like you don't have a choice, right. And you are so dreadfully unhappy. And then here's the other piece to that, because the rage that I see with people, the frustration, the fact that everyone seems to be on edge. And then when I talk to them, it doesn't sound like they've got that they're addressing it. That first, okay, they haven't recognized it.
No, you have to recognize it.
They much less addressed it, much less have a plan. What you gonna do about it? Are you gonna spend the next 30 years of your life? Let's just say you're 48 years old. Are you gonna spend from 48 to 98 unhappy in this frustrated, low level, on edge rage that is like, just kill me now? Yeah. Right?
And it's not to preach at you or anything like that, but it's, there's no need to have to go through all that.
No.
You don't have to.
No, you don't. And so I think, some of you guys, we're preaching to the choir, right? So, okay, I got another story. So, friend would be to maybe more like acquaintance. An acquaintance of mine that we ran into when we were in the States. We were talking, and she was talking about how the IRS is, because she was asking us about the taxes here in Portugal. That's right. Mm-hmm. She was asking about the taxes here in Portugal, and she's talking about how the IRS is garnishing her wages, and she just can't seem to get ahead because the IRS is garnishing her wages. And I'm like, what are they garnishing your wages for? Oh, girl, I forgot to file. No, she didn't say tax time and trying to get all that stuff together. And then I put it off, and then the fees and the this and the that. And then the next year I was like, well, shoot. And then it started to pile up. So she has like 3 or 4 years of unfiled taxes. She owes money, but I bet you dollars to donuts, like if she got a professional to do her taxes, that she might not owe. See, these are the things that people don't realize. The IRS says you owe until you tell them you don't owe, right?
Oh yeah.
They're just gonna go. They're just gonna go by what's on that W-4, W-2, whatever it is, and then until you show write-offs and this and that and the other and what you've taken care of.
Yeah.
So her money is being garnished for back taxes. Meanwhile, she was bragging about the whole new living room furniture set that she just purchased because she's having a graduation party. One of her babies is graduating from high school. All the family's going to be over there, and her old furniture was too raggedy.
So it has to look good. Have to look good. Yeah.
So new couches, love seat, chairs, tables, a new throw rug. How much? Oh, so my payments are. Yeah, my credit was good. All I had to do was.
Yeah.
How are you buying new furniture when you owe taxes? How does that work?
Yeah, because the government gonna get it.
The government is going to get
They
his
don't
or
care about the new
hers.
furniture. They'll come take the new furniture. Quite kept.
Yeah, they will.
They'll come take new furniture.
Yeah, they will.
Sell it for pennies on a dollar, and you'll still owe more. You're going to owe more anyway because of interest.
Exactly. So you know where we're going with this. We believe that the low level of rage, of frustration, why everyone is on edge, is not because learning Spanish is difficult. Because learning Portuguese is difficult too. Yeah. But because people have not figured out how to handle their money. So they're stuck going to jobs that they cannot stand or work, or they like the job, or working with people that they can't stand, or working for someone that they do not respect and who might not respect them either. Right? And so day after day after day, they're spending 8 to 10 hours a day, 5 days a week, sometimes going home on 6 and 7 day and working from home, answering email, answering texts, et cetera, et cetera.
And I mean, stop and think about it. You spend more time at work with acquaintances and colleagues than you do with probably your own family members.
Exactly.
Not saying that you want to be around your family members all the time.
Or your adopted family, like the family we have here in Lisbon.
So, it's just a thing of, why are we putting ourselves in these positions that have to deal with these things?
Why are you buying furniture when you got tax debt?
It's okay. And I think a lot of
Why are you buying that new outfit and you ain't paid your rent?
Because it's easier to just put out a credit card, buy it, and not think about it anymore.
And make your payments.
Until the payment comes, and then it's like, and then we make up excuses like, we've done it. I'll just pay the minimum on it, like we said before.
Yeah, well, I never paid the minimum. I paid $2 more.
Okay, $2 more. That's good. Cut the interest on over.
Right?
Well, it's people tend to do that and forget about it and then have to pay later on it, and they don't really realize how it's affecting them mentally, and physically. Yeah. I mean, that stress is just eating you alive.
And so, so what we have concluded is that everyone, well, not everyone, but people in general are on edge, angry, frustrated in the United States because of money issues. And I would say that a good portion of those money issues are because of their own choices, and therein lies the rub. That's the part that they don't want to deal with, because then they have to take responsibility, just as we had to take responsibility, right, for our spending $1,000 a month eating out at restaurants, right? We had to take responsibility. The only way for us to have gotten to the place where we could retire, the only way that we could have gotten to the place where we could move to Portugal, was to face the pain of the decisions we've made.
Facing yourself. We had to really face ourselves and be willing to change the way we thought, the way we did things, how we handled things. You have, if you don't change your mind first and foremost,
forget about it.
You can forget about it. Nothing's going to change because you're going to always fall back.
Right.
But you have to change your mind. You have to look at your spending habits, what you're spending money on, why you're spending money on those things. You don't need everything. You think you want something, and then when you get it, you ask yourself, why did I spend money on that? I really didn't need those.
Or you've forgotten that you've even spent it and it's sitting in your closet.
Oh, yeah.
Right? With the tag still on it. I have 2 dresses that I have here in Lisbon that still have the tags on it that I've had for 3 years. I just, so they came with me because it is ridiculous. And the babies don't speak a language. Yeah. Right. So, all right, let's see what you guys are talking about in the chat. There was one other thing that I wanted to add to that before we start getting to some statistics. Is that I think one of the reasons why folks do not want to face the responsibility of their money choices is because to face that, then they have to also face whether what they truly, truly want in life is possible or not. And deep down inside, they do not believe that is possible. Deep down inside, you do not believe that you can have the dream life that you want. I want you to sit with that. Deep down inside, if you have not taken control of your money, it is because you do not believe that you could have the dream life that you want. So instead, you are substituting that dream life with spending on things, little things, whether it be new furniture to impress your family for the graduation party, whether it is new clothes, pots and pans that you say you need, right? The new matching, this or that you have to have. And you'll figure out how to pay for it later because this makes me feel good now. Boss got on my nerves. I'm going to throw this party. Everyone's going to be impressed with how pretty my stuff is.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, after I go to bed and when it's all said and done, I am so depressed Sunday night because I got to get up and go to that place Monday morning.
And you know what? Most of the time, nobody cares.
No.
Nobody cares about how much money you spend, why you spend it, who you spend it on. It's like, to me, it's like going to the bar.
Right.
And wanting everybody to be your friend, and you're buying everybody drinks and stuff like that. Wanting to be popular, and then after that, you leave the bar, you go home, and you're laying in your bed looking up at the ceiling, saying, "Oh, I made a whole lot of new friends tonight," and blah blah blah. And those people that you spent money on and did all this stuff for, they could care less because they're going on with their lives, doing things that they want to do and they need to do.
That's right. That's right.
And ain't nobody offering to help you pay your bill.
Right. That part right there. That part right there. And when it's all said and done, all of these people that you try to impress are not helping you pay your bills.
Yeah.
So Shar says, Rick and Halisi nearly cried coming home last week after spending nearly 7 weeks in Portugal. Missed family and friends, but concerned about making my dream come true and moving to Portugal. I understand. I remember when we went to Cancun right after the pandemic, and I did cry. Yeah. I did cry because I didn't want to go back. I did not want to go back to the United States. And, if you are thinking, we are the Black Sit Global and Our Black Utopia are partnering together to do a Move to Portugal virtual summit. It's going to be the first weekend in November. Tickets will be going on sale in the next couple of weeks, y'all. I'm so excited. We got so much done. I'm so excited about this. Information is below. And I say that because Shar, they are tightening the reins. We were talking last night. They're tightening the reins. And if Portugal is the place for you, you might want to do it sooner than later. Yeah. Find a way. Like, it doesn't have to be retired. It might have to be a D8, but find a way. Find a way, even if that means remote work. Even if that means you're living here and working for a company in the United States. If Portugal is your place, you want to do that sooner than later because they are tightening up. Okay. Hey, Penny and Joe.
Hey, Penny and Joe.
So, Kay Stewart, good to see you. TW, as I get older, what rings true more than ever is if you have your health, you are very wealthy. This is true. This is true. But if you don't have money, you probably will not have good health.
They'll make it hard for you to have good health.
In the United States, you will not have good health, period. I'm sorry. You're not going to have good health. You're going to be eating off the 99-cent menu of fake food. That's what you're going to be doing. Money is the key. Money is the key. Spending is the key to getting your money straight. Okay, so Vicky says, yep, there is definitely rage going on in the States. Something definitely is going to pop off. Not sure if and it will happen, but I can feel it. And if you think about it, most wars and things are about money. Most divorces are about money. Most breakups are about money.
A lot of racial tension is behind money.
It's always about money.
Yeah.
They stole us from the continent because it was economically feasible to do that, right? To have free labor, well, not free labor because they did pay somebody something. But then once they had broke even, right, the rest of the labor is free. And then any kids after that, besides feeding them and clothing them, is free. So yeah, that is about money.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the fact that some white folks want to turn around and blame people of color because they're broke.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? What are we doing? And then if you look at what happened 100 years ago, you know, you guys, I always say this, what happened 100 years ago when we got into World War II? That was about money, right? And the stock market crashing and everything coming down. And then, Hitler and other folks, looking around, knowing that people are angry. They're angry because they're hungry. They're angry because they're hungry. They're not angry because there's a brown person over there who's also hungry, right? But this is what they do. There was a pandemic 100 years ago. There was an economic crash 100 years ago. And then what happened? Extreme bigotry and racism, and then death. And here we are again 100 years later. So y'all, make sure that you are not those folks who are asking other people to get you out of the way of the fire street, because it's coming. Make sure you have your money together so when it's time to go, you can go. You don't have to depend on other folks. So
don't just, educate your family, educate your friends, people you care about. More or less, we know most of you are in this movement and you're trying to do things and get things straight, but it's also, what is it? Reach one, teach one?
Each one, reach one, and teach one.
Oh, okay. Something like that.
So we're gonna get to what's in the chat. If you've got a question or comment you'd like us to put a Q in front of it, you guys know how we roll. I think one of the other things, there is a direct correlation between depression. There's a direct correlation between mental health and finances.
Yeah.
Because it goes down to like Maslow's hierarchy of need. If we don't have survival, right? Like if we don't have our basic needs met, there's just no way to be happy. There's no way to be happy if shelter is questionable, right? If shelter is challenging, if food is challenging, if your healthcare, access to healthcare is challenging, if any of the, basic things are a challenge or are scarce in your life, then there's nothing to talk about. But once you get past that level and you start adding on to the comforts of survival, right? At what point do you reach happiness, and how do you get there? So, and this is the other thing that I think, I see this so much with our kids. You guys know, anybody who's a parent, and if you tell one of your kids, now, why did you say that? Or why did you do that? That was not a smart thing to do. What your child heard was, I'm stupid.
Yeah.
Right? They didn't hear that one thing that they did was not smart. They heard, I'm stupid. So when we come to a realization that I'm angry, I'm unhappy at my job, but I have to keep going because I'm so in debt, because I keep spending, And I spent yesterday and I spent 10 years ago and I'm still paying for that, right? Then that regret of life decisions can feel in some way that they're rejecting the core of who we are, right? Like, because if we are our choices and our decisions and you have regrets, sometimes it's hard to admit those regrets, because to admit that for some folks will mean admitting that at their core they are damaged, wounded, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like the kid, instead of thinking one thing's stupid, they think they're stupid, right? And so we have to get past that.
Have to.
Just because we made goofy decisions in the past regarding our finances, regarding our money, does not mean that we cannot be financially wise in the future, nor does it mean that we're doomed, right?
Yeah.
That we're doomed, or that there is something inherently flawed about who we are.
Everybody's flawed.
Exactly. I mean,
everybody's
like,
flawed.
but flawed in a way that, like, you know, just me.
It's just
nobody understands.
That's a big thing too. It's like it's so funny because people always say, "Well, I thought it was just me who was doing this," or "I thought it was." There's a whole world of people out there
doing the same damn thing.
Doing the same thing. The thing is, and I always say to Halisi all the time, you know, people, even ourselves, you can walk away from other people that are saying things, that are criticizing you, that are, you know, trying to tell you how to do this, how to do that. You can turn us off.
Yeah.
And not listen to us, and that's fine. You ain't listen to us anymore. But you can't turn yourself off. That person that you stare at in the mirror and talk to in the morning, you can't turn that off. You know what you did. You know what you do. You know what you spend. You know why you spend. You know all these, you know, why you're not investing. You know why you're making excuses up about not doing this and that.
Right.
You can tell me anything you want. And it's like, I'm going to take your word. But you can't tell yourself that.
No, you cannot lie to yourself. And if you can lie to yourself, it really, like, we all need therapy, but you really need therapy. Like, if you can lie to yourself and get away with it, that internal rage translates into disease because you are in a constant state of heightened stress.
Yes, you are.
Exactly. Which is why, like, you guys know I come from the political world. That was one of many careers that I had. And when I ran for office, you know, and even after that, when I was running a nonprofit, my biggest thing was, it was always, always, always about the money. And they said, but education, but this and that. I'm like, look, if our community, and by the fact, when I say our community, I mean the Black community, because in politics, it's always divided that way, right? So our community, if no one in our community is in poverty, okay, there are some things that we will not have to worry about that are ancillary, right? If every single person in our community is making $75,000 per household plus, they can afford tutors. We don't have to fight with the school board, right? It always starts with the money. Health, it always starts with the money. If you cannot afford, or if your choices have eliminated you being able to afford because you buy new furniture, because you have too many credit card payments. So let's talk about those statistics before we go any further. So this is what we found. I went on to the Motley Fool because they put stuff pretty concise and I don't have to look through a bunch of stuff to find stuff. So the average credit card balance actually is not that bad. It is $5,910. Not that. That's the wrong number. That's the right number. 5,910. That's not that bad because we had a lot more than that.
Oh, yeah. We
had a lot more than that. And we paid it off, y'all. If we can pay it off, and we never made anywhere close to six figures a year. I kind of did at the end there, but still, we never made six figures a year. And if we can pay off all of that 20,000 plus debt, you can too. The average total consumer debt is $67,000. The average HELOC, that's home equity line of credit, which means you've got a higher interest rate, usually with a HELOC. Some HELOCs are used for home improvements, which means then the assumption is you have more equity in your home. Assumption. But some HELOCs are used for some balonies, for some BS, for some vacations and stuff, right? Right, y'all? Y'all know who we talking to. The average HELOC debt is $41,000. So just when you're talking about net worth and you've got a home that's worth $500,000 and you owe $200,000, but now you got a HELOC on top of that, just go ahead and subtract that, right? Just go ahead and subtract that. All right, so $41,000 the average family has of a home equity line of credit. And they're going to work every day so that they can pay off that 41,000. Right. That's in my world, that's a luxury car. That's 6 years to pay off, 5 years to pay off. I never bought a car that cost that much. The current mortgage interest rate, however, is 6.37%. That's high. It's been higher.
Oh, yeah.
It's been higher, but that's high for what we have been used to for the past couple of decades, right? So they're getting these HELOCs and second mortgages at a much higher interest rate than they were in the past. That's bad. The average family owes $17,000 per car.
Look good.
The average family pays for their new car, for their brand new car, $716 per month.
And they finance it for how long?
7 years.
Yeah.
8 years. $716 per month for a car note. I've never paid more than $330 and was pissed off about that.
Yeah, I got nervous if it hit 4.
Well, it never even came close. It never even came close. The average used car payment these days is $526. Personal loan, just a signature loan at a rate of 11.48%, $11,400. The average family has $11,400 of personal loan debt at that high, nearly 12% interest rate. This is why you're dragging your butt to work tomorrow. This is why. And so what's the plan? What can be done about it, right? All right, so we'll stop there and then we'll talk about what can be done about it.
Alexandria MD said, don't play with the IRS. They ain't no joke. They got access to everything you got.
Right? They have access. And yes, Greta, absolutely. A lot of this keeping up with the Joneses, especially with the furniture thing, right? Or, we get caught up with, let's just use kids for an example, right? That same person who's got their wages garnished on taxes, right, is also perhaps, buying a $700 prom dress. Because it's not my baby's fault that I didn't do what you woo, 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 woo. And Lord knows her daddy ain't gonna do. So I got to operating out of guilt, right? And then spending money that you don't have.
A lot of people do operate totally from guilt.
Yeah. It's either guilt or fear.
And it's like,
or back and forth, fear, guilt, right? Fear that I'm never going to reach my dream state. Fear that I'm never going to have my dream life. How do I know? You ask me, how do I know? Because I've been there. That's how. Because I was the one spending money on things, spending money on, hey, but I got it on sale, but I got it on clearance, spending money on Jimmy Choo's on clearance to make myself feel better, to look better in front of the people that I could not stand, some of them in charge of signing my paychecks.
I'm sorry.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Right?
It's totally true.
And miserable through the whole thing. Hey, Anita, through the whole thing. And so what they're finding with millennials is that it's not things that they're buying, it's experiences that they're spending their money on, right? So they got the whole anti-materialism So instead, they're going to Vegas.
Right.
You can't afford to take your butt to Vegas any more than you can afford to buy that new furniture.
But I need a break.
Right?
Justification of it.
Exactly. I work hard.
I need a break from all this craziness just to take the break for a short period of time, because that is just a short window of time to come back to the madness and have to work even harder to make up for it.
Exactly. And so they're talking about the IRS. My sister works for them, challenge them, and you can pay a lot less. Yeah.
But a lot of people
you've got
don't
to handle your business, right? Like this person, the same person who, the reason why she didn't set up a payment plan is because she was trying to avoid it. Like the ostrich with his head in the sand, right? She's trying to avoid it. And then finally, when she got up the courage to say, okay, let me deal with this. Let me call an accountant or something. It was too late.
Yeah.
IRS is like, oh, you want to play silent? We see you. We can see you. Every single time you get paid, we know.
The IRS will sit down and talk to you. They will try to work things out with you. Stop and think about it. Where you going to go? Yeah. What you going to do? You gonna pay me now, or you gonna pay me later, and you gonna pay me a whole lot. I've dealt with the IRS before.
Yeah. Oh, Lord, yes.
And I paid them.
Yep.
Because you can't go anywhere, you can't do anything. They have control over all that stuff.
Yes.
That's why that's the one payment that if you owe money to, the one organization, if you owe money to,
forget it. That and public student loans, same thing. They might as well be the IRS because they will garnish your wages as well for those public student loans. But yeah, so professor is talking about and here's the thing. If you are not respected at work, but you've got to go because you owe, you kind of don't respect yourself, right? So you get folks at work all up in their stuff, right? Treating you disrespectfully. And you have to put up with that. And let me tell you, that in and of itself wears on you and will take you out, right? The stress of that and dealing with it and having to smile and just placate and this and that, because more often than not, somebody in that group is signing your check, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so you're dealing with all of that. And then on the other hand, you are continually putting yourself in a position to have to go back.
Yeah.
What is the plan? What is the plan? How are you going to get out? How are you going to stop? How are you going to be happy? Get happy? How does that work?
And it doesn't mean that you have to want or have to move to a different country.
No.
It's not that at all. It's how would you feel if you didn't have to go to that job that you didn't want to go to anymore?
Right.
But you like the job, or you go to a job because you like it, not because you have to. I'll put it that way. It makes it a whole lot easier. It made it a whole lot easier when I said, you know what, I don't really have to be here if I don't want to be here. But, you do what you do. I kind of enjoyed it until I didn't enjoy it no more. When I didn't enjoy it no more, I said, I'm done. I'm out.
But we put ourselves in a position to be able to do that.
Yes,
you actually did not enjoy it for a minute before we got our stuff together.
But I was pacifying myself with other stuff too.
Yeah, we were.
You pacify yourself because you just got to get by it. You got to get by it, and it'll be okay. But
there's not enough happy hours, y'all. There's not enough happy hours in the world. And the thing about it is, I did not believe that we could actually ever retire, right? I was telling Christina and Aman about this when we were at their meetup for Our Rich Journey. I did not think that I could ever retire. I did not think that we could ever really retire. So any retirement is early retirement. But of course we couldn't retire because I didn't have a plan. We did not have a plan to retire.
Yeah.
If you want to stop the thing that is driving you crazy, whatever that is, you got to have a plan. You've got to have a plan. You cannot continue to just go day by day and think. Now, here's the thing for those who are in the entertainment industry, et cetera, because Rick and I were in the entertainment industry, and you can sell a script, you can get a contract, and everything can turn over overnight, right, Alex? One day you're sitting in a cubicle, the next day you're on tour with opening for Prince or whatever.
Run DMC.
Right, right. Things, but for the average person, the teacher, the nurse, the accountant, that is not going to be a thing. There is no recording contract. There is no selling of a movie script for the average person, right? So what are you going to do to get out of this financial rut? What are you going to do? Oh, wait. So I'm 50, I'm retired at 53. Congratulations. Congratulations. I am learning Spanish on italki and I find it slow going. My money is good and I should already be in Spain. I have no good answer. Why aren't you in Spain, TW? Number one. Number two, I don't know if italki is one-on-one, I can't remember, or if it's an app. If it's an app, then I suggest you also add to your repertoire one-on-one. We take lessons through Preply. That information is below. I take Spanish and Portuguese. He's taking Portuguese. We have found Black native speakers in both Portuguese and in Spanish to teach us. And yeah, it's going to be slow going, but it's going well. And it helps that we're in country. It helps when we're in Portugal because we hear it.
Because you hear it, yeah.
We hear it. I have to work harder for my Spanish. Need to understand and address our relationship with money. It is meant to be a tool. Exactly, F Doctor. Exactly. And yet we have given it so much more power than it deserves to have. And then not enough power in other ways. So for instance, when Rick and I were talking about this, I have talked to so many people and you know, from my old life, and they, oh my God, Halisi, how'd you guys do it? Whoop de whoop de whoop de whoop, right? And I say, okay, if you want to be rich, I can tell you how. Oh, I don't want to be rich. I don't want to be rich. You know, I'm not one of those people. I'm not greedy. I don't want to be rich, but I do want to be wealthy. Wealthy with relationships and health, you know, wealthy in my friendship group. That's sweet. That's sweet. But if you don't have your money together, you will be so stressed out that you will not be a good friend and you will not have good health. So all of this religious baloney about money is the root of all evil and all of this other stuff is just that, is baloney, is BS. It's BS. It's BS. It is tools and fruit of the slavery tree to keep us broke and enslaved so that we have to keep showing up at these folks' jobs. That's what that's about. That's what that's about. That is what that's about. If every one of you became an entrepreneur, some of the corporations would not be happy campers out there.
I like what Peace for Lisa is saying.
Right. So Lisa says, folks want to retire, but don't want to the habits.
They don't.
That part right there. Right. So the Thursday before last, when we were in LA, y'all heard about the sacrifices, you know, the sacrifices that we made for freedom. We say that every single dollar that we earn, whether we earn it from Social Security, from YouTube, from
investments,
from our investments, from our rental properties, etc., any dollar that we earn is a unit of freedom. We can say, and I don't know the math right now. I did know the math, and there's a calculator out there. If you've got the Ready to Retire Toolkit, I believe the calculator, the link to the calculator is in the Ready to Retire Toolkit. That information is below. But there is a calculator out there that will tell you how much time you get with every dollar you have saved or earned. How much more of the life that you want to live without working. Did you just buy yourself an hour? Did you buy yourself a week? Did you buy yourself a month? by not spending that money. Very, very early when we started YouTube, and we remember we interviewed Tracy and Nika, and they were paying over $500 a month for their new car.
New car, yeah.
And that was costing them about 2 months of freedom.
But people don't look at it like
that. Per month.
They don't see it like that.
Per month. Every single time they paid that $500 note, they were losing. That's 2 more months they would have to work to get to where they wanted to be. So yes, Lisa, you are absolutely right. People want to retire. People want to be financially independent. But I think that they are so caught up in the ego part of their decisions being tied to who they innately are, that they don't make the change. Right? I'm looking through our notes. So, what were you going to say, baby?
I was looking at Alexandria.
It's hard for people to avoid everyone on TV and online talking about everything they had and what they're buying. It is.
It truly is. You know, I mean, you want stuff.
Do you? Do you really want stuff, though?
Well, I mean, you don't, but you do. You think you do. You think you do until you get it.
You think you do. But let's really look at the life that you want, right? Let's look at the life that you want, the PHAT version of it and the leanest version of it, right? And so we're somewhere in the middle is the way I feel about it. Do I buy Jimmy Choo's anymore? No. No. Could I afford to buy a couple of pair per year? Yes. Will I? No. Do I miss it? No. Can I walk on the cobblestones in them? No. Maybe the Jimmy Choo tennis shoes. Not worth it. Right? Like, if you tell me, like we said the Thursday before last, with the air mattress, right? Before it was Airbnb, talking about the habits, right? Before it was Airbnb every time we went to LA. Now it's an air mattress on mama's floor, mama's living room floor. I don't care. Like, I'm not doing that again after a month. But I don't need, if you tell me Jimmy Choo's means that I have to go back to work. If you tell me I get to have a new pair of Jimmy Choo shoes every month, but the price, because there's an opportunity cost for every single decision we make. Some opportunity costs are good costs and some are bad. So the opportunity cost for having a new pair of Jimmy Choo's every month means I have to go back to work. For somebody else?
Jimmy Choo shoes.
So when we're looking at people on Instagram and on TV and everything, and we're being, what's the word that I'm looking for? It is inspiring us. I can't think of the word that to buy more stuff. Why?
Influenced.
Yeah, right. And it's influencing us to buy more stuff. The question is why? Speaking of good credit, you can pay that tax debit with that good credit. Oh, yeah, she could have paid with a credit card. Since she got the credit to buy the furniture. But sometimes it's harder to get a Visa card big enough than it is to get a store credit card.
True.
Right? Right? Orletta, hey there. You are absolutely right. You are absolutely right.
Got to change your mind.
So Professor says, starting with changing your mind. First, overspending, same as with overeating, right? Indulging because of unmet, unrecognized, and unanswered needs or perceived needs. I have decided, though Rick has not yet, but he will by this time next week.
I have not yet what?
Decided.
Decided
but
what?
I have decided 2 things. One, we're going to have a strategic planning session, Rick and I, next week. And then we're going to talk about it next Sunday. So next Sunday, we're going to talk about having a strategic plan for your life. Because Rick and I are going to do a planning session this week and figure out what this next chapter looks like for us and where we want to go by when, right? Because if you don't have a plan, then you cannot change things, right? You can't, there's nothing to operate from. Like, I need something to execute, and I get antsy if I don't have a plan. So some of the strategic planning is going to be around, I want to take dance lessons.
Okay.
Not jazz dance, modern dance, tap dance. I want to take like salsa or something, couples. And he's like, I already know how to dance. You're going to be taking some dance lessons with me. I want to take dance. So what does this new chapter in our life look like? Because I really feel like this is a new chapter. And the other thing that we were thinking about when we were looking like at the retired people that we know in the United States and why this feels so differently for us now, especially for me, is that what I noticed about the retired people in the United States is it seems like their life hasn't changed at all. It's just less of the same. It's the same. They're doing the same exact stuff, just less of it. Less work,
Yeah.
but the same stuff.
Well,
the same routine, the same, it's just.
But we know some people, it seems like they do more than what they did when they were working.
And then there's that.
Busy. Some people just stay busy.
Not with fun stuff, not with self-growth stuff,
work.
But still working, whether it's volunteer, working for the community. They feel this need that we all, at all times, have to be giving back. Well, at some point, there's going to be nothing left to give unless you're restoring yourself, right? I'm not into martyrdom. I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, I know people that have retired, and it's like, God, you're working harder than you did when you were retired. Volunteering, or doing something part time, working manual labor. And
right.
It's like, why?
Right. And so I'm going to tell him my son, our youngest, right quick. So he's back working full time at a traditional job. He was doing gig work for a while there, not like Uber or anything, but gig work within his industry, but as a 1099 person, right? And that started to slow down. So now he had to go back to W-2 work. He's 31. He just turned 31. He's basically been broke his whole adult life. He's been broke his whole adult life. Now he's got a steady paycheck again. He's in a situation where he's having to pay the least amount of rent that he's ever had to pay, right? And so he's in a position to get his financial act together.
Will he do it?
There is zero plan. It's like, okay, so you were struggling. Oh, $50 an hour. Yay. And then it goes away. Struggling. Now you're back at your W-2 job. What is the plan? What's going to be different this time so that the next time there's a pandemic, there's a layoff, there's a this or that, you're not going to be moving back into mama's basement? What's the plan? It seems to me that people just go through life doing what's in front of them with absolutely no plan on how they're going to change things. And yeah, I'd be on edge too. I'd be on edge not knowing if everything that is running right now to make my life work is going to continue running. Because if one of these pieces falls out of whack, the whole
it's going to change.
It's going to come tumbling down. It always does.
It has to. It's
right?
going to change.
Forgive my my mixed metaphors here, but the house of cards is going to come tumbling down. So let's talk about that fear. I think it starts with the biggest fear of all, of dying and never having achieved anything that we wanted to achieve. So there's the two, right? There's never having achieved what other folks want us to achieve and what's expected, and then not achieving what we deep down in our hearts wanted to achieve. So when I was a kid, I was the triple threat. So I was going to be a superstar.
Okay.
I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know. See, that's what I wanted to be. And so I was doing the things to do that, but then I was doing other things to counteract that. So did I really want it? But I was taking voice lessons. I was taking dance lessons. I was taking acting lessons, right? I lived in LA. I come from an entertainment family. Why can't I do this thing? But I'm going to tell you, deep, 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 deep down inside, I knew I was as talented as some of the other people that I saw, but deep down inside, I never thought it would happen. And it didn't. How could it? How could it really happen when I didn't believe that it could happen? Because I just don't see how. I just don't see how. And the same is true with anything else.
Well, what about the person that actually sabotages themselves?
Yes.
You know, because a lot of people will self sabotage and because they're scared
Yep.
of success.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
the real thing.
And right. And I don't think I don't know. I don't think it's they are afraid to be successful. I think that they are afraid either one, that they'll get the thing and not be able to do it, or that they'll get it and lose it and then be back where they started and have felt what it felt like to have the thing and then get it ripped, taken away. Right?
Yeah.
Get the promotion and get fired, get the promotion and get laid off. So I think fear is at the heart of most Americans' problems. It is at the heart of America. Fear. Fear of the unknown, definitely. None of us knows the future. But one of the things that I do know, and I can guarantee you this, Rick and I will not be broke. I can guarantee you that. Rick and I will not be broke, because the only way for us to be broke is to spend. And I have control over that. You have control over that.
Right.
Right? And so the income is automatic. The income too is out of our control because we've already set up the mechanisms. If the income stops coming in, the whole system's effed up. So then it's not even right. That we're talking zombie apocalypse now.
We're
talking zombie
apocalypse.
We
need to go out and make spears and stuff like that.
Exactly. Exactly.
Hunting animals.
So ask yourself, what am I truly afraid of? Is it that you don't really believe that your dream life can come true? And if that is the case, you don't have to admit it to anyone but yourself. I'm here to tell you that it can. Because of our dream life, this is not the version that I thought when I was younger, nor the version of 10 years ago. But this is a pretty cool version of our dream life.
Well, one of the things we need to get past, and take charge of is we are pretty much almost a society that depends on somebody else to tell us how to get things done or how to do something or when to do something. We are so indoctrinated in that we always doubt ourselves.
Yeah.
You know,
the schools don't teach us how to think. They teach us how to follow orders.
Well, you're right.
Right? To be cogs in a system. So yeah, you're absolutely right. So, if somebody's not telling us how to do it, then we can't figure it out on our own. But I'm here to tell you, everything is
figure outable.
As my friend Adelia Borchade of Picky Girl Travels the World says, everything is figure outable. Many of us do not believe it is possible. We don't.
Right.
We don't, Greta. And I have to say, I did not believe this life for us was possible, but I did the things necessary to create it anyway. And that's how I showed my faith, right? When we talk about manifestation and all of this stuff, it's not some mumbo jumbo, new age, hocus pocus. It really is just moving in faith. And if any of you are from the Christian faith, then you know that's what we're supposed to do, right? We're supposed to move in faith. Faith without works is dead is what they say. And so you got to do the thing that's in front of you. Even if you can't see the whole staircase, you can see just the stair in front of you. You take that step. And take that step and take that step. And next thing you know, you're down the staircase, right? The next thing we knew, we were here. We had Mexican residency. We had Portuguese residency. We were here. We did it. We did the thing. Mm-hmm. We made it work. We figured it out. But I had no idea when we started this journey where we would end up or how. We took the steps anyway. We did the math. We started doing, creating the habits to get us there. We decided that we loved the vision that we had for our life, and it was worth the pain of not getting those new Jimmy Choo shoes. It was worth the pain of showing up at the gala in the same dress that you wore to the last gala, because 2 months from now, y'all, I'm out. I am out. I am finished with this stuff. I don't care what you think. I don't need you anymore for any paychecks. I don't need you to recommend me to this CEO or that CEO for my next job or any of that other stuff. I do not need you for anything except for to love and be loved. That's it. That's it. And if you don't love me, that's your problem.
Hey.
That's your problem. I don't have to do any of that stuff anymore, right? And so once we had that vision and we saw, oh, so if we just do A, B, and C, it could really happen.
Mm-hmm.
We could do this. We could figure out how to make this work 3 years ahead of schedule. A little bit leaner than we thought, but a lot happier, because I might not have made it 3 more years. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think we're on a roll that we created, and we keep moving forward and being honest with ourselves.
Being extremely honest, extremely honest. Interest rates on credit cards continue to go up. Oh, really? My end of the month credit card balance has been 0 for the last 10 years. You go, TW. Yeah. We can't say that. Our credit card balance at the end of the month is 0 for the last 4 years. Yeah. We paid off I'll put it this way. We paid off the last of our debt with that first stimulus check. Thank you, Donald Trump. Thank you. Thank you. It is abundant. And I believe that the powers to be use it as a tool to keep us stuck. Right? Right? Yes, 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 yes. And once you know that you know that you know, because if Goofy behind Halisi and Goofy behind Rick can do it, oh, you are Goofy. He opens up every show doing goofy stuff, doesn't he? Yes, he does. If we can do it, doggone it, I know y'all can. I know y'all can. So, okay, I keep looking at the notes in here, and we're so far behind. We're so far behind. All right, here we go. I don't hate my job, but working day shift in a hospital is frustrating. I'm moving to night shift in 3 weeks. Will make more money for my retirement date that I will not extend. Good for you, Regina. And that makes sense that you make more money on the night shift. I think that's why Stephanie always worked nights at the hospital.
Plus, you don't have to put up with
as many
and politics,
as
and
many people, all that stuff,
politics, and all that
stuff. Yeah. So it sounds like you have a plan. Work your plan, girlfriend. Work your plan. Wait. I love it. That's it, TW. That is it. Hey, son. Hello, everyone. I just signed on. I also think people are on edge because they don't have any loving. Oh, that's a whole nother story. People are lonely and don't have a happy relationship with a partner, and that creates it. I think you're right, Isan. And I wonder how much of the lack of intimacy and compassion within a relationship is due to financial stress. It's hard to really give of yourself, right? And if you're stressed out about money, if you don't know where the rent's coming from. About yourself. Right. Kenneth is going to be in Portugal by 2025. I think you should make that 2024, Kenneth. As a college grad and veteran, I realize it's time to go. Quality of life is definitely important. So, Mama Bear, Halisi, and Rick, you are spitting truth today. Preach on. Thank you, Mama Bear. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Nana, you made it. I worked off and on after retirement, had the luxury of choosing part-time and temporary jobs I found investing and I found interesting and liked. Makes a huge difference when money and benefits are not a priority. No more work since COVID, right? Like, there's a lot of things that had we been on the financial road when we first got together, right? And we had been five for a long time, but I still wanted to work for whatever. There's a lot of different jobs that I could qualify for, but didn't pay enough that I would have liked to have tried just because they seemed fun.
Yeah.
And, I never gave myself that opportunity because we got wise very late in life.
We got wise.
Yes, and not too late. Lola, you are not too late.
Nope.
It's going to be on and popping. It's going to be on and popping. Thank you, Tanya. Hopefully, I'll be applying for my visa around the same time to Portugal. Good. Yes, 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 Nana. Yes. Also, when you have a temporary setback, people want to give up instead of readjusting. Exactly. There's always going to be setbacks. So for us, like for instance, when we made the decision, I went onto the BFS, that is the third party agency that handles visas for some countries, including Portugal. So I went on to BFS. This was January 2022. They had one appointment available January 31st. This was like January 5th. I made that appointment and had no idea what was required. I had to cancel that appointment, needless to say, because y'all know we went in August. Mm-hmm. But it looked like that was the only appointment available for the rest of the year. So I panicked. My readjustment was, let's do Mexico first. When Adelia Borshade said she was thinking of a second residency, and I learned that you could actually do that. Yeah. That was a thing. Like you could legally be a temporary or permanent resident of a few different countries and a citizen of another totally different country. That's a thing. You could do that. Yeah. We could have choices like that. Heck yeah, sign me up. Where do we go? So my readjustment was putting that on hold, waiting until I think Rashida got back in town so she could reset the thing and I could do their little Portugal. They had a Portugal workshop that was on a replay that they charge, I don't know, $25 for, whatever. I couldn't get it to play. So waiting for her to come back so I could get the information so I could find Gail, call Gail, and get that stuff together. You don't give up. Yes, Jeanette. Yes, yes, yes. You don't give up. You adjust. I started getting my money straight about 1.5 years ago, but I never dreamed it would be possible to move abroad until now. Right? Right? I think it's the best kept secret. We all I think it's the best kept secret. I think the other part of that is when we were younger, Vicky, there was no remote working thing, right? Because there weren't personal computers. So that wasn't a thing when we graduated from college. I don't know how old you are, Vicky. I'm just assuming you're as old as I am, and you could be 10, 15 years younger for all I know. 170 views and only 70 likes. Thank you, Action VJ. I love you. When you say they are tightening up, can you please elaborate on this a little? I'll be applying for my D8 around November, not with the D8 Nano, but with the D7. I'll make this quick because this is not what this is about today. But regarding Portugal and regarding all countries that create visas to restore their economy, if they're restoring their economy and the economy is doing a lot better, then they no longer need folks coming in on those visas. Right? And so they have to balance between creating enough economic stimulus and then not causing hardships for their citizens. Have we heard something specific that they're changing? No.
I think I need to answer the door. You hear it?
Somebody's ringing? Okay. Okay.
All right.
All right. He's going to be right back. Okay. So, fast food made me the person I am. Y'all, I gained so much weight. You probably can see it in my face. I feel bloated. I just feel bloated. The American food. Today, I ate about a tenth of what I ate in an hour, it feels like, in the United States. So I know it's going to come off. I'm not tripping on it. But also, it's just financial issues and over-policing in the inner city. Yes. Yes. But back to money. Back to money, right? It's not just over-policing in the inner city. If everyone in the inner city made $75,000 per household or more, and there were less stress, do you think those cops would be able to get away with the stuff that they're getting away with? Think about it. The times when things change is when people have the time, the energy, and the resources to create change. If you have a community that has gone from working class, as Americans put it, to middle class, and now they've got resources to maybe come together as a community and hire an attorney or a lobbyist or whatever, or get one of the city council people, right? All of that stuff. Money changes that. Money is the root. It is the key. It is the key to changing a lot of this stuff.
Did you hear him singing at the top of their lungs?
Mm-hmm.
I want to close the window.
So one of the things about where we live and how they did housing in Portugal when this was built is that the buildings are built with a courtyard in the center. And so things echo and people keep their windows open. And the people on the second floor in the building across the way think they have a karaoke bar in their living room.
When I went out there, he was like yelling at the top of his lungs, singing. And it's like, oh my God, I hope they don't hear this. So hopefully you don't hear it anymore if you heard it. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think that we can hear it. On edge, we are already in a civil war. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not willing to participate in that civil war. I'm not willing to participate. I'm Switzerland. I'm not participating. I don't have time nor the will. I don't care. All I want is for me and mine to be okay. We did not create that drama. We did not create the problems. It is not our job to fix it. It is their job. It is the power brokers' jobs to fix that. They broke it. They can fix it. Hey, Phyllis, good to see you. Glad you made it. People have a subconscious will die. Wait. I gotta read this. Aletta, I keep saying since the pandemic, people have a subconscious will to die. And it shows. Look at the price of food. Fresh food is higher than junk food now. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Money is at the root. It is at the root for health. When I hear these religious folks talking about, oh, I don't want to be rich. I just want to have the wealth of health, the wealth of family and relationships. Really? Because if you're broke, people don't want to see you coming because you're probably going to be asking them for money. Too many people are comfortable and think things will always be prosperous. It's interesting because in Watson, Aman of Our Rich Journey, and we just saw them last night and we spent half the night talking to them, so that they're kind of top of mind for me right now. But he said something that I thought was pretty brilliant. And I don't think he said this on their channel. I think this was in the class. But he said that Americans tend to be overly optimistic. And I think for Rick and I, we were definitely overly optimistic, and I was definitely overly optimistic. I'm going to get that. I'm going to sell that script. I'm going to get that contract. I'm going to get that big deal. That is overly optimistic. That is pinning all of our hopes on something that is so far beyond my control. Now, with the internet and things like this, like a lot of that stuff could have come to pass today that could not have come to pass 15, 20 years ago, right? But that overly optimistic, I'm going to score big, I'm going to win the lotto, whatever. Like if your plan is to win the lotto.
Yeah.
I like your name, Black Women Build Wealth. So health insurance is a joke because at the, like with your colonoscopy, I remember colonoscopies are preventative. They're supposed to be 100% free, but they find a way. Because
they charge you for something.
It's the lab, or it's the clinic,
it's the building, it's the parking lot.
Who you being charged? Thank you. When you need it, they will not show up for the compensation, right? I'm telling you. I think the most brilliant thing I've heard about that situation, Nana, is that it is not really the events that shape our lives. It is what we believe about ourselves after the event that shapes our lives, what we walk away believing about ourselves. So for the kid who walks away from that was a stupid thing that you did, understanding that that was a stupid thing that he or she did is good. But the person who walks away thinking that stupid thing means I'm stupid,
I'm worthless, and
it is not right. If you were, we have all been through trauma, whether it is emotional child abuse, physical child abuse, sexual child abuse, or abuse as an adult, whether that's physical, emotional, or sexual. It is or just abuse on the job, right? Somebody talking down to you and just being belligerent, whatever. It is not those events. It is what we believe when we walk away from those events, what we believe about the world and ourselves in it that has the most impact. And you have control over that. Yes, people do. Okay, TW says, what do you think about taking out an additional annuity when a pension and Social Security are already annuities? Like, no, I never really understood what an annuity was until we started this channel and people started coming to us on one-on-one calls with annuities. It reminds me kind of like of those whole life policies where it's part investment, part insurance. This is what I have to say. Your pension is your pension. What if you've got a government job or one of those huge corporations that still gives pensions, right? That is what it is. Social Security is what it is. The things that you do have control over, I would make sure that I had my money in a place that charged the least amount for me to do the thing, the least amount for me to earn money with my money. People get caught up in thinking, oh, but this annuity guarantees me $1,000 a month. You can save money to guarantee yourself $1,000 a month too, for free. Can you do that? Do you have the discipline to do that? So I don't know what annuity you were talking about, but when it comes to income streams, I would create an income stream that has less fee, the least amount of fees possible. And I will just leave it at that. Powder Puff Travels. I like that name and it sounds new. My son was really into the Powder Puff Girls. So remember that?
Yeah. I still give him a hard time about that.
I totally agree. I'm dealing with bad choices right now. Now it's holding me back on my moving plans to Tanzania. I'm sorry about that, Powder Puff. I'm really sorry about that. But the most important thing is, and give yourself grace. And I keep saying that because when we're too hard on ourselves,
Right.
that inhibits us from growth. Because if it hurts too much, then we're not going to want to deal with it. And if we don't want to deal with it, then we can't fix it.
Could you put her back up there?
So, Powder Puff?
Yeah. So the thing is you've already faced what you need to face, and that's I made bad choices. So know your bad choices and change them, fix them. You can fix them. It's when you don't realize and you're not trying to realize and you're just going along with the flow of things that you're in trouble.
Yeah.
So you've already started.
Yeah. Awareness is half of it. Seriously, folks, because our kids and part of the reason why we're doing this is because just listening to them over the past month about how they're living their lives, and I've yet to hear a plan from any of them. What is the plan? What is the plan? They haven't even acknowledged that there's a problem. Well, kind of a little bit, but not totally. So the fact that you've acknowledged is half the battle.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I caught this. We always advise doing a scouting trip prior to moving abroad. Some people feel like they don't need to. And I think it depends on how you're moving. If you're moving by yourself and you're just moving with suitcases, a lot of places, like I know people who have tried to get a visa for Portugal, and if they have not visited, they've gotten denied because there's nothing that they can say. Why do you want to move here? You can't say anything about your personal experience. I've read that it's like this. I've heard that it's like that. I've seen on YouTube that this and that and the other, but you have no idea yourself. And so we do know people who've gotten denied who had not been here first. So if Portugal is your place, I definitely suggest you come here because it looks better on your application. We love Portugal, but we know that everybody's not going to love it.
Yeah, you need to come here to see because these hills ain't no joke.
No, they're not a joke. And it's pretty much all of Portugal. Not totally, but pretty much all of Portugal. But no matter where you're going, whether it's Tanzania as Powder Puff or some other place, you have to make sure that what you've heard rings true for you. Rick and I have said we blend in. We feel like we blend in here in Portugal. You may not give a good to hoot whether you blend in. You might always want to be treated special like a tourist.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what floats your boat, right? People, offering to help and coming over to you and doing all the things that tourists get. I don't like that. So this was on our list. And so it's really, we've heard people in the chat saying Portugal is extremely racist. I lived there, or my son had an incident. We have heard all of that, about all of the racism that goes on in Portugal. Not just from Americans, but from other immigrants as well. The only thing that I care about, I care about all of that stuff existing, and I acknowledge that it exists, right? And that they had that experience. But for me, how do I feel? How am I being treated? Because how this person over there is being treated is not necessarily how I'm going to be treated, which is not necessarily how you're going to be treated, right? And so
all you know is your own experience.
Exactly. So that's the other piece to it, that people have said that they don't feel that much racism when they come here as Black Americans. I feel the same way. Now, I'm a Black American. I have heard from other Black folks that racism is alive and well in Portugal, jumping off and popping and this and that, and they can tell me 1,000 stories. But the fact that they can tell me tells me something else. And so I definitely do not want to compare suffering because that's not cool. But one thing that I do know is that we don't see on the news nor in the newspapers people of color being made dead because of the racism. My family thinks that I'm crazy for planning a move abroad. Why? I told them that they are going to want to leave too before it's over with. Tanya, look, if you have to be the Harriet Tubman of your family, then that's what you, I guess, have to be, because some people are not listening. They're not listening. I've had a coming to Jesus moment on my poor financial decisions in the past. Forgive yourself, right? When you know better, you do better.
Yeah.
When you know better, you better be doing better. You better not know better and then continue to do the same stuff, because then I'm going to slap you. That's when you're going to get slapped. So, okay. Hey, Nina from Ohio. I'm working on my husband with the plan to move abroad. His mindset isn't to stop spending. Did I say that couples break up because of money? Now, Eileen, I'm not telling you to divorce your husband. Get in the chat telling me I'm telling folks to get a divorce, because I'm not. But what I would do is I would see if you can have him watch our live stream next week, because we're going to talk about how Rick and I came up with the plan for the next phase. Like, I couldn't get past last year. I couldn't get past the move, and then the return to do the rest of the little things that we didn't do before. So now we're past all of that. We have our residency cards. We're here for 2 years, guaranteed. Well, not guaranteed. Anything can happen. But we've got the cards that say we have the right to be here for 2 years, and hopefully we won't do anything to get kicked out. So we're here for 2 years, hopefully for the duration, for the foreseeable future. And now we want to start planning for that. And so we're going to have a strategic planning session next week on our live cast. We're going to talk about that and how you can do that for yourself. It's hard if you're part of a couple when only half the couple is doing what they need to do to move you financially forward. That's difficult. It really, really is.
You got to kind of find I wanted to say central theme, but
a shared goal.
Yeah,
to motivate.
You got to find that shared goal to help each other understand what you're trying to do.
Right. And so when we started, because the first thing was get rid of the debt, because we were just tired. And so I think that once we finally figured out that this thing was doable, and it was doable within a time frame that we could visualize, right? Like if you tell me, oh, sure, you can retire 15 years from now, that seems like a long time. But if you tell me 5 years from now, well, 5 years goes pretty fast. I mean, hell, it was 10 years ago that I did such and such so-and-so, right? So it looks a lot different, right? And so I think it's going to be really important, Eileen, for when you guys come up with a plan, to have those milestones so he can see the progress happening and will not feel necessarily as compelled to spend money on other stuff. So for me, what I used to do is buy another share of Apple stock. When I felt that itch when we were still working to go spend money, to go on Amazon, click, 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 I'd go buy Apple stock or whatever, right? Like I'd buy stock, seriously. And I would get a thrill. When that would come in, shares purchased, I would get that same thrill. Bought me some stock, baby. So can't wear it, but it's sexy as hell. I'm just saying. Yeah, nonprofit. You can work just as hard in nonprofit and not make a difference and just get paid less. True. Okay, so let's see if we can catch up. Action BJ says I had 15,000 in debt, started with living within my means, eating at home, and getting a little side hustle job. Do what you got to do. We had over $20,000 in debt. I've never been mortgage free. I think that was the original intent in America. You would buy your home, stay in it, and pay it off. and then really be able to retire off of Social Security because you didn't have a house note. I think that was the plan. But
somebody found other ways to make money off of.
Well, they kept compelling us to tell us we had to have more, right? We had to move up. Why are you still in a starter home? You got to buy that bigger home. But I don't need a bigger home. Yeah, but you're making more money, so you got to buy a bigger home. That right there. That's what you do. You buy a used car for cash. If you've got to have a car, pay cash. We don't invest in depreciating items. It's not an investment. A car is not an investment. Unless it's one of those, 1930,
vintage and
exactly.
Worth a couple.
Hey, Lenora, we're glad that you made it. We are glad that you made it. Wow. How do you pronounce that name? Mellis is the last name.
Mm-hmm.
Janin? Is it Janin?
Janin.
Or Janin? I'm sorry, baby. I've only had 2 cars in 15 years. That's good. I kept one for 9 years, paid it off. Yep, me too. And then got the second one used and paid that off completely in 1 year. Whoa, didn't do that. That $700 car payment is bleeding people dry. I'm trying to tell you that. I remember when I walked into the bank with that last check for that car payment, I really, really thought sirens were going to go off. Woo! Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. She paid it off.
They sent advertisements to buy a new car. Hey, you paid that one off. We want to loan you more money for a brand new car.
Or go through our special dealer program and, we can get discounts. So if you get, you can get the loan through us and go through our dealership program. And we've got some free, negotiated prices and all of this nonsense.
It's a never-ending cycle. You pay your credit cards off, you pay your loans off. It's a never-ending cycle. They want to offer you more money and more money and more money.
And student loans are out of control. Student loans are out of control in America at the same time when you can go to university in Western Europe nearly for free. I have $40,000 in federal student loans. I have a low interest rate of 1.25%. Recommendations. Hey, Dion Marie, you do voiceovers. I would say that once you are retired or working less, go on to an income-based repayment plan. When you are making the amount of money that I'm making, the payment plan, so next year may be different because YouTube is paying us a couple of bucks a month now. But yeah, so income-based repayment plan. If we didn't do YouTube and and that was not paying, I would pay zero until 2034, I think, or 2033, and then it would just go away. That's the good thing about public government-based student loans, is that income-based repayment plan. So what you need to do, and here's the thing with spending. If you can get your spending as low as possible, eventually you will also be able to get your income as low as possible. Once your income is as low as possible, then things like public student loans become a non-starter. You ain't paying the rest of that. That's on the taxpayers, as it should be. Fear will keep you bound up. Fear will kill you. Are you paying off those cars because you know you're going to need them for another 5 or so years? Eileen. And the reason why I'm asking that is because car loans, unlike credit cards, usually have a low interest rate, especially if you've had it for a minute. Like Rick's car, it was like 2.5% interest, right? And so It did not make sense for us to pay that off early. It made more sense for us to take that extra money from paying off your first car, putting that at the very least into a high yield savings account at 4%. And then once we've saved up enough money to pay off the $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 owed, right? Then take the money out of the account, the $6,000, and pay it off. It probably over time will cost me less money, right? So because I'm making money. So I'm paying 2.5% interest, I'm making 4%, I'm up 1 and some change, right? And so that's why I'm asking. There's lots of ways to skin a cat. I think it's better for your money to make money if you have a low interest rate. And yeah, if you have a low interest rate. If you don't have a low interest rate, then the second question to ask yourself is, are you moving abroad to a place where you don't need a car, or is your plan so far out that you're going to need that car for the next 3 to 5 years? And that's why you're paying it off. Hey, winning in education. And this video was not supposed to be about keeping up with the Joneses. It was actually, although it kind of went there a little bit, it was actually supposed to be about not having a plan, a financial plan, so that you can get out of debt and not be tied to these jobs that are causing so much stress, right? I think people are angry, people are on edge because they don't see a way forward. They don't see a way forward, and they're looking out at their life, right? These are the sacrifices that we make when we have a plan. These are the sacrifices that we make when we have a vision for our lives that is not dependent upon somebody being impressed by our daughter's prom dress or by our prom dress.
But then you ask yourself the question too, is it really a sacrifice? It's part of your plan.
There's always an opportunity cost. And no, it didn't feel like a sacrifice, right? When we chose the air mattress, it did not feel like a sacrifice because of the bigger picture. And that is the beauty of it.
Okay, so let's take sacrifice out.
But for some, it might be a sacrifice.
Put in opportunity cost.
Okay.
It's
So you think sacrifice turns people off?
I do.
Well, kids especially, because kids don't want to give up anything. And no, Biden didn't forgive my student loans, but repayment plan, income-based repayment plan. If you don't make any money, you can't pay any money. I mean, you can. They could still try, but private student loans, they don't care. They don't care. But yeah, so that's why it went down to 0. Anita says, sometimes you don't know there is a better way and you assume you have to work the rest of your life anyway. So why not spend it, right? We're here to tell y'all. We are here to tell you. I took my 70 hours a week back. Rick took his 50 hours to 60 to sometimes 100 hours a week back for no extra money. We took our time back. We took our time back. Boy, I'm trying to tell you. I am trying to tell you.
Yeah, they will.
My job's not bad, but it's my family that stresses me the out. Especially if they're asking for money, right? Especially if they're asking for money. The curse of retail therapy. I'm trying to tell you. I did it. I didn't have a plan. With lockdown in 2020, it just happened. Luckily, my husband stayed on working. I didn't have a plan either. We didn't have a plan. The lockdown definitely gave us the time. Like we were already on the road to debt free by the time the pandemic hit.
Right.
But I think during the pandemic, it gave us the time to really think.
Yeah.
Right. We weren't commuting back and forth. You were actually laid off. So it gave us the time to think about, okay, we don't want to go through this again.
Yeah. Time to think about options.
What else can we do? What is possible? And it is amazing what is possible. It really, really is.
It really is. Give yourself time to do that.
Oh, so you're in the entertainment industry. So I'm going to have my business and work remote right now. Yeah, we do what we have to do, but as long as you have a plan. Oh, so italki is one-on-one. Okay, great. Great. I thought it might be. Some YouTuber, it was pushing italki. With AI coming in to make roles efficient, if we don't have skills, jobs are soon diminishing anyway. You're absolutely right. So it's even more important than ever to make sure we talk about diversifying your investment portfolio, but you also need to diversify your income streams, right? If we didn't learn anything else, especially when you got laid off, we didn't miss a beat financially. We didn't miss a beat because we were spending a lot of money on crap. So all the bills got paid so easily with just one paycheck. What were we doing with all of that money? What were we doing with all of that money?
Somebody won it in LA. Somebody, definitely one person, I think.
The lottery can't be your plan.
Mm-mm.
I'm trying to tell my cousins, my uncle, Big Mama and them. We're not your plan, and the lottery is not your plan. Get your stuff together. Look at those numbers.
I mean, stop and think about it. Whoever wins the lottery, out of 10, they predict that they'll be broke within 5 years because they won't know what to do with the money.
Right. So what we are saying works regardless of if you get a big payday or not. It's all about the spending.
Right.
It's all about the spending. We equate money with our personal value. Yes, we do, especially in America. When it's low, you feel low, and vice versa. Very dangerous thinking. Yeah. I mean, it does not feel good when you can't pay the rent. It looks stupid when you can't pay the rent, but you just bought new furniture.
Yeah, that looks crazy.
That our value is not based upon how much money we make, right? Our value is not based upon how much money we have. Our self-value could be affected by the discipline that it takes to save the money, right? And so if there's a diminishing in your personal value, it shouldn't be by what you have, but what you are choosing. Because you're making bad choices and you know better. And you know better. And you know better. So, the love of money is the root of evil, not money. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Question that American desire to flex, that's what I'm talking about, and brag has a chokehold on folks. I know a person running extension cords throughout their house because of electrical issues, but takes several trips each year.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not getting your electricity checked. You might start an electrical fire in your house, but you're in Bali, balling. You're in Bali taking that Instagram picture. Meanwhile, your house is on fire.
Better insure it.
Turn that TV off. Turn it off. It is a vicious cycle, Auntie Trey. It's a vicious cycle. It's a vicious cycle. It's a vicious cycle. You come home with the Jimmy Choos. You feel good. You walk around. Hey, sweetie, like my shoes? Oh, yeah, baby, those look good. And then that's the end of it.
Yeah. It's
How much those cost? Oh, they were on sale. They were only 150, marked down from 500.
That was justification to buy
I saved so much money.
them.
I saved $400 on these shoes. Okay, so what are you guys talking about? Now I stop myself from buying things. Yeah. I want you to have a plan. A strategic planning session is perfect during this super full moon. Oh, okay, August 1st. It's about preparation. That's right. That's right. So once you realize you have a problem, the problem is not just with our habits, but our view of the world, right? And when I say our view of the world, what I mean by that, it's like, what is important? And what your view of the world, what's important in life, and then what your role in that is, right? So is your role to be a leader? Is your role to be like, what is your role? What is your role? And more often than not, our role is to be the whipping boy. And we don't admit that to ourselves, but that's what we have become. You want to say something about something?
I don't know what she was referring to.
He doesn't bite his tongue, Justine.
He
don't. Will tell me. It may seem like I'm running things. I'm not running anything.
I mean, we agree on most things, but there's things that we do not agree on. There's things that I can't get on board with and I won't, but we discuss it.
If you find this information interesting, please hit the like button. Okay, so Isan, I plan to retire soon. My biggest concern is finding community. I would like to learn the language and do something creative. Yes. Find community, go on Facebook, go on the Facebook groups. I'm going to like the group that was there at Alex's birthday party last night. The majority of those people we met through Facebook or through this YouTube channel. Now they're friends. And now they're friends. And it felt like I'm at a party with friends. I mean, there were a lot of people there that I didn't know, but there was a good amount of people there that we did know.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
It felt good.
And nobody you couldn't know.
Oh, true that. Definitely.
No one was standoffish or anything like that.
No. I was referring to the dance lessons.
Oh, I don't have a problem with dance lessons. I mean, that's what she wants to do.
I will take video of the dance lessons. We're going to do the tango.
And I'll excel at it.
He's a good dancer. He's a better dancer than I am, actually. So it looked like it was a lot of fun last night. Krishan, we had so much fun last night. So we had so much fun. Oh my gosh. Okay. So you realize you have a problem. You have adjusted your worldview and the view of yourself and what the world owes you, right? Like a lot of the younger people, and I've seen older people with this thing too, is that they think somebody owes them something. And that's the other excuse for not getting their stuff together. Right? Well, such and so and so wouldn't have done this. Well, I can't get ahead because somebody keep doing it, and he keeps doing it. Yeah. No one owes you doodly squat. We don't owe you. We don't owe you. No. So what is your plan forward? You should be journaling your spending. So that's one of the things that Rick and I started doing is downloading before we knew about the apps, is downloading our spending. If you are the type of person that's spending all day or you are a really bad spender and the person whose husband is not on board, I would challenge him to journal his spending. Like keep a little notebook.
Challenges work.
Yes.
Challenges work.
Especially with men. Men are competitive, right? Little notebook with him every time he spends money. Write it down. How much and what he spent it on. How much and what he spent it on. Because we do things so mindlessly. And like we were talking last week about Amazon. Amazon is here, but it's not here. Amazon, as it looks in the United States, is not here. Yes, there is Amazon Prime here, but you ain't getting it same day. which means, and you're probably not getting it tomorrow. And you're probably not even getting it in 4 days.
Yeah, I might get it in a week.
But a week, yes. That gives you time to think. Is this something that I really need? And if it is, am I willing to wait a week for it?
And you're paying more money.
Right. But that instant click and it's here tonight, you don't even have to think about it. I'm glad.
I was going to say that's one of the things I missed because, I mean, I didn't buy goofy stuff, but stuff, equipment and stuff that I bought when we were in the States because I knew we would need traveling lights and different things like that. And I knew I could buy them through Amazon and it'd be right there the next day or that night.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
You missed that.
Yeah, definitely. But I don't miss not having access to that extreme impulse buying. Hey, Karen Louise. Yeah, we're back. We are back. That's what I'm talking about. Right? So you're going to journal your spending, what you're spending it on, and how much and why.
Yeah. Why is
it needed? What do you need? How much money do you need for future you per year? This is your plan. How much money do you need for future you? And don't listen to Susie Orman and use facts. So go get the Ready to Retire Toolkit in there. There's a database for the cost of living for the cities around the world. Not every single city, but I would say every big city and semi-major city and even town probably is in that database with a cost of living. So figure that out. Go ahead and add 3-4% inflation per year, because even though we've had extreme inflation for the last 2 years, if you look over a 10-year period, there's still going to be an average, and it ain't going to be 8%, right? Okay. So put in the average of 3 to 4% for interest so that you know how much future you needs to live the life that you want to live. For Rick and I, that's about $31,000 to $33,000 per year. You heard me. For us to live the life that we want to live, $31,000 to $33,000 a year. Anything extra means we're flying business class, we're going on an extra trip, we are, whatever, maybe upgrading to 5-star hotel for a couple of nights to do some spa stuff or whatever. That's what the extra money is for us. But for our base level of happiness, just enjoying life, everything's good, $31,000 to $33,000 a year. How much did we have to save to get to that place? Understanding where we were in relationship to when we would get Social Security, right? And so that's why we started saving about 65% of our income. Those last years, we were saving about 65% of our income so that we could get to the place where we would have that extra to supplement the Social Security. And then how much money do you have to put away? I kind of said this already. How much money do you have to put away per month to get there? And by when? If it's 10 years out, you're going to have to do some other things because that's a long time for delayed gratification. So you might want to speed that up. You might want to take a remote job so that you can you might want to take mini retirements. We're going to do a Thursday short about mini retirements or trial retirements and things like that. But if once you've done the numbers and you see how much you need, then you will be inspired to come together and we say, wait a minute, you mean to tell me that we're only 2 years away from this? Like, seriously, in 2 years, we could be retired?
Yeah. And I think that would help out with Aileen and her husband.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once you see that, once you start seeing that you didn't need all that stuff or whatever, I don't know what he's spending money on. But, that's what it takes. And once you see that and it's like, oh, God, I'm wasting a lot of money. Yeah. You're just spending, and you realize you don't need all that stuff that you were buying, whatever it was.
Exactly. So Action VJ's been around since almost the beginning. only 35,000 in Portugal. What would y'all's basic needs cost in the US? Double.
Yeah, just double it automatically.
Double, right? So there's no way we could have retired in the United States off of one Social Security check. We would have to work YouTube like a serious business in order to have done that. So, like a serious business, like no joke, we're like what I say to you guys when we meet you, we're just having fun. And that's what we're doing. We're just having fun. We want to be the people that we needed to see 3 years ago. Right. And so if we can inspire you, if we can show you that this thing is possible, that you don't have to work forever and die working, then we're having fun. But if we stayed in the United States, YouTube would be a serious business because we would need it to make money, or I would still be working. There would just be no way around that. And so we did do a cost of living video. Y'all been around like you haven't seen that video. You guys only come for the lives. You don't watch our edited videos. Is that how it goes? Is that what we doing now? Our family?
That's Greta's saying.
So Greta said, did you see my question? No, Greta, I didn't. Can you ask it again? Because I'm at the end now and we're going to wrap up, but I do want to answer it. I'm sorry, baby. I did not see it. So while you're typing, I'm going to look. In the meantime, as I said, we are doing a Move to Portugal virtual summit. We're going to have immigration specialists, attorneys, real estate people. Okay, no, that's not her. Residents from different parts of the country to talk about those different areas, and you can ask those questions. We're going to have basically a month pass and then an all access pass that will include some other goodies and private stuff as well as extended access. Okay, I'm not seeing it. So hopefully you've had a chance to type it again. So yeah, Greta, I didn't see it. I did not see it. So lady, hi Rick and Halisi, I'm 50, only have a bit over 4,000 in a 401k, unemployed now, but I took $600 of what I have in my 401k and invested it in a target date fund and 2 other index/mutual funds. Okay. What else is the $4,000 invested in? So there's that question. And what is the plan? What is the plan? So, I'm going to tell you what I told the other person. As far as investments go, I'm always going to suggest that you invest in something that has automatic diversity, like a mutual fund, that costs the least amount of money, like an index fund. So that's great. I don't like target date funds personally because they're not aggressive enough for the plan that Rick and I have. So we have a very aggressive plan because we're still in the building stage. We're not in the maintain stage. And if you only have $4,000 at 50 years old, lady, you probably shouldn't be in the target date fund either because it's probably too conservative, right? So I don't know when that target date is, if the target date is 67, 65, or 62. Mm-hmm. But I would like to see you retired in less than 10 years. Okay. So retiring at 62, 65, or 67 is not the goal. The goal is 60 at the maximum. And that's what you should plan for. So you need to figure out where you're going to live, how much it's going to cost, and how you're going to get there. How much money it's going to take for you to get to the point where you can live for at least 2 years without Social Security. Okay. And then Social Security can be the supplement with the rest of the money that you have saved up. But you should have 2 years living expenses saved up. Emergency fund, 2 years living expenses saved up that you're going to live off of. For us, that would have been $60,000. And it may seem difficult, but I'm going to tell you, as the stock market is going back up, if you take money off the top of your check and continue to put it in the 401k, your max is over 20,000 now. Because you're over 50, you can do the catch-up thing, right? And so your max is over 20,000. Once you get a job again and you are able to invest in your 401k, then do that. I'm not sure like if you have some money coming in, and you have an IRA, I know once you have retired, you cannot invest in a traditional IRA. I think I get Roth and traditional mixed up. I'm just going to let y'all know. Anyway, but if you are just temporarily unemployed, I don't know if that applies. So do the research on that. Okay. And I'm also going to leave you with this. So, someone that I know at 54 years old found $4,000 in a credit union account that she had forgotten about. That's all the money that she had besides the paycheck that was coming in on Friday. She took that 4,000 and she invested it. And today she is financially independent. So it can be done. It can be done. And even though you are 50 or over, it can still be done and you can still retire on time, or maybe even early. Okay. So, okay, here we go. Greta. Rethinking my Roth IRA and 401k strategy, investing in 401k for tax benefits. Great. At 59 and a half, start moving some money to a traditional IRA than a Roth IRA. Do you have to do it that way? Why do you need to do the latter, Greta, if it's after 59 and a half? Why can't you just move it straight to the after-tax IRA? Why do you have to do the latter? So that's what I'm unsure about, because the thought process is if you need the money before 59 and a half, then you will have to pay taxes, but you don't have to pay penalties if you move it to an IRA. Well, if you're doing that after 59 and a half, then you don't have the penalties. You will have a tax implication. Is that why? Is the tax implication why? So if you move after tax money or before tax money, after you're retired, then obviously you're going to pay less taxes on that. Then you put it into an IRA so that whatever future growth is growing tax-free. Mm-hmm. But I still don't know why you would have to do the latter, the traditional, LADDER, the traditional than the Roth. Why can't you just go straight to the Roth? So that's what I'm unsure about. Although you two have identified your minimal expenses, have you also factored in inflation to ensure you'll be okay as the cost of living rises? Well, as the cost of living rises, the money in our investment accounts is also rising with stock, right? The money in our high yield savings account is also rising with the interest rates. Right now it's like over 4%. And so we're getting money that way. And then Social Security does cost of living raise as well. But we saved up 2 years, Justine, we saved up 2 years living expenses just for that reason, because stuff happens. So that's what we have. We have 2 years living expenses as our emergency fund. That's over and above the retirement accounts and extra savings. Yeah.
And we still apply to that.
So, in money, yeah. we still invest. The money still automatically comes out of our savings account and goes into our brokerage accounts every month, like clockwork. So we're still doing that. So we're actually living off of a little bit less than what I said, but maybe not. Anyway, so it is about that. And so Social Security goes up. But then the other thing is, Justine, is kind of, but not on purpose, starting this other income stream with YouTube too. So any cost of living that is over and above what is traditional could be handled with the couple of bucks that we get from YouTube as well. So yeah. Okay. So I think you guys got the point. Money is at the root. Look, they say money doesn't buy happiness. Baloney. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. There is nothing more joyful than not having a financial care in the world, right? There isn't. I mean, there are some things, but it's hard to be joyful about those other things if you're stressed out about money. It's hard to be so joyful about a new baby, be it niece, your own baby, grandchild, if you're stressed out about money. And obviously, that's more important than money. It's hard to be happy about a family member or a child getting married if you're stressed out about money. So, our health insurance costs $1,800 a year, and that's for folks our age with a pre-existing. Okay, you guys, you know I'm trying to get out of here. I knew there was an artist in there. Hey, Mary, how you doing? That's why I'm in your coaching sessions. I was thinking about you, Mary. I was thinking about you earlier today and your channel. And so, yeah. But we'll talk. We'll talk. Okay. So if it's for the growth tax implication, then yes, but I still don't know why you would need to do the latter, why you would need to take those 3 steps. Why isn't it just the 2 steps? Why isn't it just the 1 step? Okay. Action VJ, is he supposed to say 82 subscribers with 200 people watching, smiling? If I transfer to a traditional IRA, it would be a rollover, no tax, right? Okay, so that reminds me now. The traditional one is the pre-tax, Roth is after tax. You're still going to get taxed though. You're going to, okay. So then it rolls over to a traditional IRA. But the minute you move it from a traditional to a Roth, it's going to get taxed. So why not just do it to the Roth and get taxed at that point? So you guys are having a coaching session on air here. Here we go. If I transfer from the 401k or traditional IRA to the Roth IRA, then I would pay taxes on the amount transferred. That's right. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So why not just skip the traditional and go straight from the 401k to the Roth? Because you're going to have to pay the taxes at some point. Tunisia, Portuguese inflation has been about the same as it's been in America. It's just that we started so much lower with the pricing, right? And it looks different. Like the inflation doesn't seem to be for like all food, but I have noticed that some food is a lot more expensive this year, some items, than they were last year. Some of the specific items that I purchase. So LL Cooper, I'm basing my retirement on remaining in DC. So if I move somewhere less expensive, I'll still have the option to return to DC, just like our Rich Journey did. Yeah, we did the same thing, actually. Our 2-year living expenses emergency fund is actually based upon our Denver numbers, not on our Portuguese numbers. That makes my FI number a bit harder to hit, yes, but still doable within 2 years. Yay. And that means you may have double your emergency fund or whatever if you decide to move out of DC. Right? I love DC, but I would not want to stay in the United States, period. But I definitely like DC. Okay, we're going to let y'all go. It's been 2 hours and 13 minutes. Why is everyone so on edge and angry? Y'all, it always comes down to the money. It always comes down to the money. Yeah. And whether you're starting a new job or trying to figure out how to get out of the rut, the bottom line is you've got to change the way that you think. You've got to. Right? You've got to admit that you are afraid that your dream life is not going to happen. And then come up with a plan to make it happen. Because if you say it's not going to happen, it ain't going to happen. Yeah. If you say it is going to happen, it can happen. It can happen. You find a way to make it happen. It can happen Rick and I are definitely, hey, Adelia, you know what, Adelia, you heard me talking about you, right? A backdoor Roth. I think I'm talking about a backdoor Roth. We're going to do some, you know what, that might be a Thursday short. We might do some, yeah, I'm going to write that down and do some more research. So yeah. And Adelia, you must have heard me. I've mentioned you 2-3 times throughout this live cast, so you must have heard me and decided to pop in. So yeah, once you realize you have a problem, come up with a plan. Come up with a plan. I do so much better and have so much less stress without a plan. But every single person that we talked to who had that low level of rage, that just on the edge, that frenetic energy, none of them had a plan.
Nope.
They could not tell us one thing that they were doing to change their situation. Have a plan. Have a plan. Get your money straight. If you need help with that, we can help you. If you haven't figured that out yet, we can help you, right? So the first thing that we can do is we can have a one-on-one session with you and help you get your money straight and talk personally and go over your numbers and show you how you can get from point A to point B. That information can be found in the description below. Or you can take our self-paced course called Beyond the Bling, Money Mindset Makeover for Financial Independence. That information is below, and that comes if you buy now, because we're going to go to a subscription model that comes with monthly coaching. And so our next group coaching session for Beyond the Bling members is in about 2 to 3 weeks, June 30th. Yeah, 2 weeks, I think. So 2 Saturdays from now, we'll have another group coaching session. So if you get Beyond the Bling, you'll be able to participate in that. And Beyond the Bling, we talk about investing in the stock market, investing in real estate, how to analyze your spending, how to create an unbudget, right? Which I so lovingly stole from Adelia, and how to create a side hustle that works with your lifestyle. So all of that information, every single module is in there for Beyond the Bling, along with the group coaching session. And again, we're having the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit. That information also is below. You want to get on that wait list because we will only have a certain amount of all access passes, right? And we will start with the people who are on the wait list and offer them the early bird special to buy the all access pass for the not Beyond the Bling, but for the Move to Portugal Summit. And with that, we're going to let y'all go because we've been on here for almost 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
So we're going to let you go. We love you. We will see you on Thursday.
Yeah.
And we are going to talk on Thursday about the new tourist visa requirements for Americans coming to the EU. See ya.
Changes all the time.
That's right.